Recorded live from the Washington, D.C. metro area. You're listening to Seasoned for Success, hosted by Rob Ross.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Learn from a melting pot of industry leaders and find the right ingredients for success.
Hey everyone, it's Rob Ross here with the Season for Success podcast. My guest today is Jason Demers, and he is killing the real estate game down in St. Pete, Florida. He's a broker of a RE/MAX office down there, one of the top RE/MAX offices in the United States, and he has been killing the real estate game for 18 years. He's a personal friend of mine. I've known him for that entire 18 to 20-year period. We've always stayed in touch. He was originally from Rhode Island, moved down to Florida, back to Virginia, now back down to Florida. I think he's there to stay, and I can't say I blame him. But anyways, hopefully you enjoy the podcast today. There's going to be a ton of information on here about lead generation, real estate business in general. We definitely have some funny stories for you, and you get to spin the wheel of death questions behind us. So let's see what questions he got today and how he answered those. Anyways, hope you enjoy the podcast, and I'll see you here on the other side. All right, there we go. Now do we freeze? We're like,
good morning.
What's going on? All right. Well, good catching up with you the last 15 minutes or so.
Yes, my brother, I know.
We could always, you and I could always talk for hours.
I know. Hours upon hours. I know that's what happens when you don't see somebody for 5 years. 5 years.
In person, yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Actually, right when you moved to Tampa, correct me if I'm wrong, Tampa area, you'd moved down there. You told me you were going to move because we had gone to Deep Creek. You came on a golf trip with me.
Yeah, that was fun.
You told me you were thinking of moving. I was like, you know what, man, that's a great idea. You're awesome at what you do. Something new, right? You'd been in this area for a while, just something new. And look what happened with COVID. Everybody moved to Florida. But anyways, something new, moved down there. And I swear within 2 months of you moving down there, you called me. You're like, there's no more Tampa Bay. The entire bay is empty.
Yeah,
I'll never forget you called me with that. You're like, this is crazy. I just moved here.
Yeah.
Right? Am I recalling that right?
You're talking about when COVID hit?
No, the hurricane. Wasn't there a hurricane?
Oh, yeah, dude. I had
right when you moved there, didn't the bay drain when you moved there?
It was right before I moved. So yeah, I'd found out that I was taking over a brokerage in Tampa. And so that's when I knew I was ready to relocate out of Northern Virginia. I'd been there for, I think, 18 years, Yeah. My daughter had moved out, and, I was just there by myself. I was in Northern Virginia, just driving down all of the roads with traffic and just seeing families everywhere going, college flags and stuff like that. Everybody's college games and everybody's, rushing their kids to soccer and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm already past this. I'm here by myself. What am I doing here? And my daughter is in Fort Myers. I was like, said a couple prayers. I read a couple books. I think it's called The Circle Maker. I think I got it at a church with my buddy Ryan, and it was all about kind of praying for something different that you want. And so anyway, it actually has a lot to do with going to the destination that you want to be in, or if you want to buy a specific car, go to the dealership, see it, walk around it, pray it. The closer you get to it, the more that it actually happened. So I ended up flying down to Florida after I read that book, and because I wanted something different in my life. And boom, all of a sudden, the regional manager for the company that I'm working for calls me and goes, "Hey, I have an opportunity for you." I'm like, "What's that?" He's like, "I need you to call me tomorrow and we'll discuss it." I was like, "Okay." So my brain was all racked, and he had a brokerage that he had owned down here. I'm not going to mention the name because you guys know what it is, but he had sold it, became a regional manager. He said, "Jason, I want you to take over my number one office in Tampa." And I froze. I was like, well, there's a lot that goes on with that, because now I'm in a relationship, got to get out of that. And I got to make this big move, down to Florida. So I made the decision after sitting on it for about 4 or 5 weeks. He calls me again. He goes, "You get shit or get off the pot here, because I need somebody to take this over." So I took the leap of faith. And then right before I pack up everything, I got my moving truck, I got my car, Audi, on the back of one of those little car skids, car tow things. My whole life is in a U-Haul and my car's on the back.
Yep.
And I find out about this hurricane that is supposed to come straight through Tampa Bay and demolish it. And I'm like, so now I've already have my lease signed down here, everything ready to go, and I'm driving down to a place that's going to be completely destroyed to run a brokerage, which I didn't know any of the agents. I knew nothing about anything that was going on. I had a panic attack, and that panic attack feeling was when we were playing golf for the weekend over in Deep Creek.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we went up. We have
Yeah.
a crew of mine here in Brambleton, Ashburn, Virginia. We have an annual, which we didn't do this year. It's a little depressing. We got to figure that back out. But we have an annual golf trip up to Deep Creek Lake, Maryland area. For those of you who don't know where that's at, Garrett County, Maryland, kind of on the border of West Virginia. But yeah, you went up to that trip, and I remember you were talking about it, and I knew you were moving, but I don't know if when we were in Deep Creek, I don't recall if you knew the hurricane was coming at that moment. You knew you were moving, but I don't know if we knew about the hurricane.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Didn't know about the hurricane yet. I had already had enough on my mind, and then once I found out about that hurricane, I literally had a panic. I had a panic attack. I wasn't sure what to do. I couldn't think straight, and I literally went to the hospital. That's the truth. I wasn't gonna say it, but I did. I ended up going to the hospital because my hands, I was freaking out. My hands got numb, my feet, and I just didn't know if I was making the right decision because of this hurricane. Because if the forecast was this whole area is supposed to be,
it's a big move. You've been here a long time, so
18 years.
And before that, you were Boston area, right? Rhode Island.
Yeah, so I'm from Rhode Island. Yep, born and raised in New England and Rhode Island, and then I moved to Florida and Naples when I lived on Block Island when I was 20. Moved to Naples, Florida, from 21 to 22, where I met my wife, and then we moved to Northern Virginia. I'm sorry, Chesapeake, Virginia, and then I started working for Don Pablo's Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And I became a manager, and then they moved me to Columbia, Maryland to take over a brand new restaurant. So I became a second, what do you call it? Like a second manager. You had the GM, first, second, and third manager. So, and then they said, hey, we were opening up a new one in Sterling, Virginia. So we're going to move you from Columbia to Sterling. And boom, I ended up in Ashburn for 18 years.
Yeah. The rest is history. I met you in Herndon just a few years after that. So we were, oh gosh. So I'm mid 40s, you're late 40s. Are we supposed to?
Hey, whoa. I just got out of my mid. I mean, literally, my birthday was like last week. Stop.
Yeah, I know. We're both right there. So
yeah. Push me into
I'm November, you're December, so I know that.
Yeah. So. 23rd, right? 23rd November?
Yeah. Born on Thanksgiving, I was.
Oh gosh, what a turkey.
Pilgrim.
You know what happened? What my brother used to say to me, because my birthday is December 22nd. So when I was younger, my brother would always say, hey, you know what dad always says to mom around your birthday? And I go, what? And he would tell mom, what a treasure he is, that Jason. Let's bury him. And I used to cry.
And he's your older brother?
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, my brother Wayne's 52.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what older brothers are for. So
yeah. That was the least of what he did. But anyway,
exactly. But no, moved to Northern Virginia. You and I met. You've been in real estate since you left. I mean, pretty much your whole life at this point, right? So
yeah, I was licensed. I got licensed in Northern Virginia in 1999.
Yeah, there you go. So, and I moved to Northern Virginia in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
I lived here for a summer in 2000. I interned, and then I moved here in 2001. I had a short stint with a home builder, but pretty much jumped right into mortgage. So for those of you listening, Jason and I know each other. He lived 10 houses down from me is where we actually met. He happened to be in real estate, and I was a mortgage lender. So we liked each other as just neighbors, and then we had a natural synergy between our businesses. So it's here we are 18 years later, still talking. So
it's called vodka.
Yeah, it can be some vodka in our 20s. It doesn't take a lot to notice the amazing university. You can do anything you want, but it was also the number one party school in the U.S. 3 or 4 of my 4 years there at West Virginia University. So I think that actually my junior year is when Red Bull was like literally invented.
Oh, great.
So we're at a bar in Morgantown, not to digress here, but we're at a bar in Morgantown, and all of a sudden the doors opened up. It was almost like you could see like the light behind them. It was like they walked in, like you're like blinded by the light. There's like a silhouette, and the Red Bull girls, as they called them back then, the Red Bull ladies came
Mm-hmm.
in, and they were the Red Bull reps, and they're in, Red Bull, whatever, bikinis, something, whatever. And they're walking in with Red Bull. And we're like, ooh, what is Red Bull? And they're like, it's an energy drink. Well, that sounds awesome, because it's midnight in Morgantown and you need to stay awake. So this sounds great. And they gave us the Red Bull, and the bartenders, literally my first night I ever had a Red Bull, the bartender behind us is like, that looks like that'd mix good with vodka. How about a Red Bull and vodka? Literally, like, and they're like, this is like, it was like day 3 of promoting Red Bull in the United States.
Oh,
And
wow.
day 3, I'm already got a Red Bull vodka together. So
Dude, I believe it.
I don't know why I went there, but it's pretty funny. So
They should have a class action lawsuit against them for taurine. The taurine, that ingredient that they put in that Red Bull.
oh yeah.
I can't. Well, for me, I'm caffeine sensitive amongst other things. But yeah, the first time I ever had a Red Bull, I just shook. Like I didn't even know. I couldn't even drink Mountain Dew. I know maybe we're boring everybody's trying to listen here, but it's seriously, like I used to pitch when I was in Little League. And so when I would go into pitch I would drink Mountain Dew before the game. I would get into the game, and around second or third inning, my legs would shake, my hands, I get sweaty. They would have to pull me out of the game. So it ended up taking about half the season before we found out that I couldn't drink Mountain Dew anymore. There's so much caffeine in there that I didn't realize it was caffeine sensitive. So yeah, and then all of a sudden they come in with Red Bull, which is like having 4 Mountain Dews. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely why I picture the Talladega Nights, the kids like, I'm all hopped up on Mountain Dew. I'm gonna scissor kick you in the back of the head. And that's the greatest scene.
Yeah.
Ever. So fast forward, you and I've known each other forever, been in real estate forever. We've done a lot of business together back and forth. The purpose of the podcast is Season for Success. It's people in your position, whether it's real estate or any walk of life. It's how do you become successful? The blood, sweat, and tears, to get there. And, for you, it's what you do for your company. Both as a licensed real estate agent and then just helping your company grow. Whether it's leads for your brokerage, CRM systems, that's a tricky thing. CRM system could be a whole 2-hour podcast. We'll touch on that a little bit. Generating leads on Facebook. Obviously, if you're watching this, you're probably seeing it on YouTube, Google, right? Somewhere, Facebook, you're seeing it out there somewhere. Recruiting's a big thing. I think it's kind of funny. I look at the mortgage industry and real estate industry right now. It's kind of like, if any college football fans out there, the big thing in college football right now is called NIL, name and likeness, right? Mm-hmm. And we've always heard the stories, at least I've always heard the stories for the last 20 years that, colleges, there was a movie with Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway back in the day called Blue Chips. Nick Nolte Nick Nolte was the coach, right? And Nick Nolte was the coach that just stuck to his guns and would never cheat. And man, he really wanted that championship. Well, he cheated and he got Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway and he won, right? And he just great movie to go watch. I think I need to go back and watch that now. But point of the story is, recruiting for your team, it's been interesting. Mortgage industry, real estate industry. Mortgage industry, you've always seen mortgage companies throw out signing bonuses and so forth. And that's been very common in the mortgage industry the last 20, 25 years. That was not as common in the real estate industry. It wasn't as common back in the mid 2000s, at least from what I recall. It wasn't as common to say, hey, I'm leaving Long and Foster to go to a Remax or whatever. And the reason I'm doing it is they're giving me $100,000 signing bonus. I used to never hear that, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it was happening a little bit, but that's what happens in college football right now, right? Or basketball, or pretty much high level D1 college basketball and football, is you can do name, image, and likeness. So now it's just basically paying for players, right? So that's so when you talk about recruiting for your team, it's not about paying for people. It's about value added, right? Mm-hmm. When you go work for a company, when you go work for a team, when you go work for someone such as yourself, there's a value there. It's not about a small or large signing bonus. It's about a lifestyle. It's about what you offer them. It's about all these things we're going to talk about. So with that being said, where do you want to kick it off with kind of what you're doing right now with your company? And first, tell us about where you're at right now and what you're doing.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to go because we don't want to go too far back in the day. But right now, I'm a managing broker for the number one Remax office down here in Tampa Bay area. It's called Remax Metro, and we have 4 offices down here, and we've got about 120 agents. I think we were looking to do close to 800 million for last year. Yeah, I think year before that it was like 740 million. So obviously we thought that this hot market that was flaming down here would just push us to the 800 million mark. So not sure if we got there, but pretty close. That just gives you an idea. And so yeah, basically I'm doing what I've been doing for a long time since I got into real estate in Reston. When I got into real estate in 1999, the internet was just really evolving, right? There was nothing like Zillow out there. Like there was no real estate portals. There might be, yeah, there was probably maybe 1, 2, I don't really know, but nothing like it is now. But there was a homes.com. That's where I got started, right?
I remember homes.com. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. And you're right. 1999, there was nothing. I mean,
no,
You're still hearing that dial up from AOL at that point, right?
Oh yeah. I remember those days. Yeah, I was done with Don Pablo's. I was opening up. I was a manager, was an assistant GM, and I was carrying out my my drawers to put into the cash register to open up. I think we opened up at like 10 o'clock, 10 or 11. Either we opened up at 11 o'clock. And so I got there at like 7:38 in the morning to set up the restaurant, the first one in there. And, you know, my hostess called in, the cook called in sick, like everybody's calling in. I'm trying to set up, put my cash register drawers in there and get going. And so I am going from the kitchen into the bar area, and I have my hands full and nobody's in the restaurant. And I kicked the door open. It was a swinging door, and that door went flying and it hit the margarita machine, slam. And I look, and there's a guy in a sports coat sitting at the bar. And he just looks at me. I look at him. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing in here? Like, I locked the door after he came in. Well, apparently I didn't lock the door after I opened up at like 7:30 in the morning. And he goes, oh, I was like, I am so sorry. My hands are full. I didn't know you were here. I was just using my foot to open the door, but I kicked it. And I guess I was really frustrated.
Yeah.
And so I put everything down, and he reaches, you know, after a couple of minutes of talking to him, he was super cool. He was just there for lunch. We got there a little early before we opened. He sticks his hand in his gold jacket, you know, nice suit jacket, it was gold, pulls out a business card, puts it on the bar and slides it over to me. And he goes, I think you need a career in real estate. And I was like, well, no shit. I've always wanted a career in real estate. I got to get out of this damn restaurant business.
Yeah.
It's killing me 6 days a week, man.
It's a grind.
My day off, I'd have to go in for manager meetings. You know, my daughter was born. I wasn't at home much, and I smelled like burnt fajitas and onions every day when I went home. You don't ever buy any new clothes because you're going to ruin them. So anyway, let me just go ahead and fast forward. I stayed with him. I quit. I literally quit my job 2 weeks later. I was under contract to buy my first home over near Dulles Town Center Mall in the Colonnades, right?
I know the Colonnades. I just drove by there the other day.
Yeah,
Is that right across Route 7 from like where Embassy Car Wash was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there.
Right there. Yeah, I was driving down Route 7 one day. Yeah. I looked over on the right-hand side. There was trees. The next day I drove by, they ripped all the trees down overnight, and there's construction on these new townhomes, which I had never owned a home at the time. And so we went over there and we walked in there, and we got a Nehemiah loan, which the builder pays some of your closing costs and stuff like that, and your down payment. So we ended up getting a house. I went under contract with the house, and I quit my job. In that order, I went under contract on the house. I quit my restaurant job. I went and got my real estate license, and then they did job verification on me, and Jason doesn't work there anymore. So how am I going to, and all my stuff is in storage. Oh God, I don't even want to get into that story, but all my stuff was in storage. I was allergic to cats. I had to go stay with a friend while the house was being built. It was 120 degrees outside. She lost air conditioning. I can't even make this up. My daughter is with my mom in Rhode Island because we're supposed to be moving into this new house. So that was no problem. I jumped into real estate, and then I would go into the office every single day. Now, this is probably why anybody that's listening to the podcast is probably get motivated. If you're slow with business and you're looking to generate business, I didn't know what I was going to do. I went in there every single day, and I had my nice laptop, which weighed about 400 pounds. And then I would have my little folder, my ruler, and all this stuff. And I would sit there and, wow, I'm not making any money. Like, and the broker let me do that for a couple of days. Couldn't believe that. I came in 2 days in a row and I was there for 6 hours, not really doing anything. And he just walked up to me and he said, you know what, Jason, you are going to organize yourself right out of this business. I was like, wow, what do you mean? Again, I was like, 23. I don't know. Do the math on that. 99. I don't remember, but 25. I don't.
Yeah. Right in there. 23, 25.
Yeah. Yep. And, he told me, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and get these envelopes here, and I want you to print out labels. I want you to create a CMA. I didn't know what that was, but he told me, here, this is how you do it. Go in the MLS. I want all the actives, solds, under contracts, and expireds. And you're going to go ahead and find a community, and you're going to farm. And I was like, farm? Like, what is, I had no idea what that meant. I was like, I do not want to work on a farm. He's like,
I'm not Rob. I'm not from West Virginia. I don't know how to farm. I don't know how to farm. What are you talking? I'm from
Rob would have been, no, I won't do that.
I can't farm. Not me.
Yeah.
Brother,
I didn't want to do it.
Brother Jason, I don't know how to farm.
I didn't even know what he was talking about until he told me boots on the ground and stuff. So anyway, I found a subdivision in Ashburn, and I sent out my mailers to all the homes. And then after that, there was nothing to do until the mail got there. So I kept doing mailers, trying to find a farm area and all this stuff. And then he told me boots on the ground. He said, now you need to go out there. Now that you know the mail is delivered, you need to go out there. You need to knock on the door and hand out your business cards and just follow up on your mailer. So I did it. I actually did. And it was really warm that day. It was sweating, but man, I had to do something. I just bought this house, had no income. My daughter, my wife, 2 cars. I'm like, and I'm 25. I'm like, so I have to make this happen. So I did it, and I did. I went. It was on. I believe it was on Smith Circle or something. Anyway, I go knock on the doors, and one gentleman, older gentleman, answered the door, and he said that I looked familiar. Long story short, he recognized my piece of mail and said he wasn't interested, but thanks for coming by. And, if he had any questions, he'd give me a call. And I was like really nervous. So anyway, I went around all 60, 70 homes where I did my mailers. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Just like 2 weeks later, that same guy called me and said, hey, I still got your information here. I was thinking about, I'm definitely retiring. I'm thinking about selling my house, moving out west. And I was like, he's like, you come look at my house? I was like, holy cow, really? Yeah.
You're like, this worked. What are you talking? This worked. How did this work? Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, if that guy wouldn't call me, we would not probably be here right now, because I needed that first check. I needed that. He's
your dude.
He's my dude.
Yeah.
He was my dude. Yeah. So I went there. Long story short, I ended up listing the house. I had no idea what I was doing. I ended up listing the house. A seasoned agent had called me who had a buyer. And she was so kind as to, I kind of remember her name too, but she walked me through the process, as well as my broker. And because she knew I was brand new, and she was like, hey, I just want my client to have a smooth, easy transaction. I want to make this happen. I'm willing to teach you how to sell a house.
Yeah. Let me help you.
The buyer agent. Yeah. I didn't want to keep going to my broker, even though he was fully available all the time. It was just, I kind of wanted to show my broker that I could just do this on my own. But the whole time he didn't realize that she was mentoring me. And so we got it done. I found out what FRT was, by the way. I didn't know what FRT was, but the house that had the fire retardant plywood.
I was like, what the hell's FRT? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. It was fire retardant plywood, which is something back in 99 you couldn't have it came in older townhomes. And so it was flammable. So I guess you had to have it taken out if your house had that in there.
Gotcha.
So anyway, she told me about that. So what I did was we went under contract. And what I did, though, is when I got my listing, I went on homes.com. And homes.com, the only way you could have a home on homes.com, it didn't come from IDX. It didn't come from the MLS. You had to manually upload your photos, your descriptions, beds, bath. You sign up for your account, you put it there. And then they take it and they put it on their homes.com website. Okay. And then they had a huge partnership with Google where anything that you looked, when you went to Google back in 99 and you searched homes for sale in Ashburn, Sterling, Herndon, wherever, homes.com always came up. So I noticed one day I had posted my first listing on homes.com, and I got a lead I got an email from somebody that was asking me some questions about it. I was like, oh, really? So I picked up a buyer for my listing. Well, I got another listing, put it on there. I got 2 more buyers. Broker's like, dude, you've been doing this for like 4 months. You've got like 5 transactions.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah, I didn't want to tell anybody what my secret was, but I saw the little dry erase board. We always put everybody's sales on it. And it was like, I walked in one day, I had 1, then I had 2, and then I had 3. And then the office only had like 7 listings at the time. It was the beginning of a new month. So we erased last month. Now it's like, I'm up there 3 times. So what I was doing was I had asked the broker if I could use his listings. Because one thing that I did remember from getting my real estate license is all listings are that of the broker.
Yeah, it's true.
You just don't own their listings.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah.
So
we say that in mortgage. All of your loans and clients are owned by the mortgage company, technically, right? Even though you're an independent loan officer working for our company, it's the same thing, right? So
yeah, you have a license number, you hang it up. We have a principal broker, and you have what do you have?
A CEO, but but yeah, we have managers, and we have a bank, and we have warehouse lines, and we're processing and underwriting, and we're funding your loans. We have the money. That's the answer. We have the money, right? Each individual loan officer they're not writing checks out of their own pocket for $500,000. The mortgage company is, right? So,
and they're ultimately responsible.
Correct. Yeah. If someone defaults and doesn't pay, they're not liable. We are.
That's right.
Yeah. We take all the responsibility. So
what I did is I went over to the principal broker. I was with Century 21, by the way. Century 20. That's why the guy that gave me his card, he had a gold jacket on, because back in the day, that's what they did, right?
I was going to say, he wasn't going into the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio with the gold jacket.
He just wouldn't.
If it was a pink jacket, he'd be selling for Mary Kay, right?
The pink Cadillacs,
or a green jacket would be right here. I don't know if you can see it. The Masters, that was.
Oh yeah, the Masters.
That's 2017, but that was.
Yeah. Who knows?
Different jackets, right?
Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to the jacket. I just, as soon as he pulled his card out and he spoke to me that way, and you look like you need a career in real estate. Little did he know, since I was 17, I wanted to get into real estate because I saw an episode of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and this guy was
Robin Leach, right?
Well, it wasn't. Yeah, he was the announcer. He was the host.
Yeah.
But yes, Robin Leach. Yep. But there was a guy in a black Porsche 911 Carrera Turbo that pulled up to a home that was probably worth $2 million. And he was making, I love that Porsche. I loved it. And this guy was in real estate. And ever since then, I was like, I want to get into real estate. So, all right. So now I went to the broker and I said, hey, look, is there any way I can advertise some of our listings? Because they're yours. And he was like, well, absolutely you can. Absolutely. He was like, I'm just going to go ahead and check with the listing agents first. It's common courtesy, and let them know, so that way they don't see you advertising in the same newspaper as them, which was the Loudoun Easterner at the time, was the big one to advertise in.
Nice.
And it's all coming back to me. So what I was doing is I was taking our company listings and that I get approval for, and going to homes.com, and I was putting all the listings into homes.com under my name. They were all coming up at the top ranks of Google, and I was getting the leads. So I was like, dude, I have another listing coming up. I'm going to put it on there. Boom. I sold the listing myself. I got another listing next. I got a listing, and then the guy's son or the guy's dad wanted to sell too, because they're moving out of town. So he was like, man, you did a great job for me. Talk to my daddy. He wants to move too. I put it online. Boom. Brought in a buyer. Remember, this is in 99. This is .com booming. Like, stuff's coming up.
Yeah, PSI Net, WorldCom.
MCI WorldCom.
WorldCom. They were all right here in Reston.
Yeah. Yep.
Actually, right across from one of your old offices, right in Reston. That was the it was WorldCom right there, right?
Well, no,
that PSI Net.
PSI Net.
It was PSI Net. It was right across the street from you guys.
Yeah, like MCI WorldCom. I mean, dude, let me just tell you what had happened. I was selling my own listings. So basically I made like $60,000 in 2 months. And in 99, And little did I know two things. One, I was on a 50-50 split. So and then I had to pay taxes. So the 50-50 split, I was
You're 23. You're like, whoa, what is this
25,
tax you talk about? What
yeah,
is this tax?
well, it always came out of my check.
Oh, okay. So, okay. Well, at least that happened.
I was always W-2'd, yeah.
Okay. Well, at least it wasn't a surprise 12 months later. You're like, what is this shit?
No. Well, it was that same year, but yeah, I was like, oh man, I got to put money aside and set up an LLC and then all this other stuff, right? I found that out about after my first year.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, that's what I was doing. I was that's how I got started in real estate. And that's how I got started I consider myself like a technology broker because that's what I've been doing. And I started learning how to generate leads and opportunities online. And then, yeah, that was it. My career it really did explode from that point when I adapted to technology. And then I got into Craig Proctor. Oh man, do you remember Craig Proctor? He still pulls up in my news feed.
I know the name, but you gotta refresh me on that.
#1 Remax agent in the world.
Oh, okay. That's why I know the name then. Yeah, there you go. But he's not in this area though, right?
No.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why I'm not. He's not in the DC. No. When I say this area, I'm in the DC metro area. Jason's in St. Pete, Florida right now, but
yeah,
he was up here before. So
yeah,
I knew the name. But yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, if anybody out there knows Craig Proctor, I mean, this guy is still going at it. He's still in my news feed. He went away for a while, I think. But anyway, Craig Proctor would sell websites. And man, when I tell you a website that's noisy, the whole thing, like, again, this is when the internet first came out. Everything was like coded, just regular HTML. But on both sides of the website was, I'll buy your house. I mean, I'll sell your house in 60 days, or I'll buy it cash, or 30 days, or 10 ways to buy a house with no down payment. Links like that all the way down the page, very noisy, but they were lead generators. And that he played the game of, hey, I'm going to sell these websites to agents across. He was so ahead of his time. I'm going to sell these websites to agents. They're going to pay me monthly, and we're going to build them. And it'll be a yearly subscription or whatever it ends up being. I couldn't remember, but I can't remember it this time, but it was generating leads. So I was like, man, I'm going to get one of these things. And so did my real estate partner, Mr. Tino, at the time. He was big into Craig Proctor, and we were into Craig Proctor and Top Producer software. That was our CRM at the time.
Top Producer, man, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, obviously I know Tino too, because you guys live down the street. So
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And so he had a brokerage in Great Falls, and I was working for a different one.
You were right over in the shopping center behind Dante's.
I was behind Dante's.
Italian restaurante right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I only went in there a couple times. I don't remember.
Best lasagna ever, dude. No. Are you kidding me? Our CEO, Ed Dean, goes there. He lives in Great Falls, goes there all the time. Dante's.
It's still open, huh?
Yeah. You were around the back. You had to go around back was the brokerage. And I believe you were.
Oh, I thought you were talking about in Herndon, the end unit in the strip mall. You're talking. I know Dante's in Great Falls.
the White House in Great Falls.
Oh
yeah. It was right. It was right by
your. About that place.
It was right by your office.
That was Tino's office.
But right around back where Tino's office was, I believe, right next door to Tino's. Either while he was there, or right before he was there, or right after he left, was there was a title company right next to it. I can't remember the name of the title company. But a friend of mine, Connie Sautel, was in my BNI networking group back in the late 2000s, and she had the title company right next to where Tino's brokerage was. Anyways,
yeah. Sorry.
I'm reminiscing, going down the road. I know where you are. So
I know, and I'm getting like these emergency. I apologize. I was listening to you, but I get these emergency messages that are popping through. So, Dante's was there, and Tino's brokerage was there, and I forgot where I was going with that whole story there because my messages just threw me off.
Oh, that's all right. You were going. You were talking about Craig Proctor.
Oh yeah.
You guys were following Craig, Remax, and so forth.
Yep. So generating leads. So long story short, again, that's how I started into the business. I started generating leads online, and then I started a team, which I brought you in on. And that was Realty Generator, which is now Market Leader, owns that platform. It was probably the best CRM lead generating platform I'd ever seen.
It was unbelievable. And let me just say this for everyone listening to this. And I say everyone because we're going to get some people listening to this podcast. Mm-hmm. And Jason's not going to say this about himself, but you were ahead of your time. Mm-hmm. Like you're talking about Craig Proctor, you're giving props to everyone else. Let's give props to you, right? You're turning red here, but but you were ahead of your time. Like when
lighting.
We're a few years apart in age, but not that far off, and just opposite ends of the spectrum with regards to financing and real estate. But I was a big fan of. It's fun to say I was a big fan of the internet, right? That's kind of funny, but late 90s, early 2000s, I was a big fan of like, how do we utilize this to grow in mortgage and real estate and whatever? And no one was doing it, right? It's crazy to say that. There's going to be millennials. There's going to be people listening to this podcast saying, what are they talking about? This is all common sense. There's 5,000 platforms for this now. Guess what? Yeah. There used to be 2 or 0 or 5, right? So it's changed so drastically. But if you were ahead of the curve back then, Realty Generator, right? I mean, that's I didn't realize. I was going to ask you what happened to that, but you already answered it. Market Leader, right? And I think there's probably still around too. But
there were some young guys in Denver that started this. And if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, it's a CRM, kind of like KV Core. If you don't, you guys are using KV Core, or if you're using Real Geeks, something like that, or you guys are using Chime. Those are the ones.
I see what's Boomtown? Is that one?
Yeah, Boomtown. That's another one. Yep.
I see Boomtown out there. And
so Realty Generator was like the first one that I had ever come across. And when I saw this, I couldn't believe it. But when people register on your site, on your website, when you're sending leads to it and they sign up, when you log into the back end, you could see when they were online, what properties they were looking at as they were looking at them. So I'm sitting there going, man, I just need more leads. And then once I send more leads in, because I was running Craigslist ads, running all these buyers, before Craigslist became a dungeon in Backpage. But now all of a sudden I became really smart. I'm like, I just need to get more leads. So I actually became very, very smart. What I did is I started a team of some good agents in our office that were working there. They didn't know anything about real estate platforms, advertising, or anything. So they knew, not to interrupt, but they knew grassroots, right? They knew the door knocking and the drop bys and the client appreciation events. They knew that. You knew the tech. You knew that too, because you did that, but you knew the technology side. So you're like, let me help these folks that don't know the other side. And quite frankly, they don't want to learn the other side, right? Is that part of it? Yeah. That's 100%. Again, I stumbled. Okay, let's go way back. But I mean, before I even get started in real estate, I got really interested when the internet came out because I'm a weather nerd. And I remember my dad one day showing me his computer. We could see weather radar. It was dial-up. It was AOL. And then he got a printer and he actually printed out the 7-day forecast for me. And my dad and I were weather nerds. Yeah. So that's when I jumped on the computer. That's when I started getting on there. And then I got into HTML. Starting to learn the coding in front page is what they called it. I wanted to create my own little web page, and then
it wasn't WordPress back then.
No. This is front page, and this is FTP. This is you create a page. You don't even have to write the code. It was drag and drop text, and then you click a button and you could change the code. But now you have to get it to the internet. How do you do that? So you have to get what's called FTP, which is File Transfer Protocol. That's how you take the information from your computer and put it on a server on the internet.
So who's going to host it, basically?
Hosting,
right?
Yep. So you just so I started learning all that stuff, and I was just really interested in it. We did a couple little businesses like picture rating website. That was cool. That's when Facebook first came out. That's a whole other story, guys. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Maybe we do part 2.
We will. We'll do part 2.
So let me skip forward. That's how I got into real estate. I started this team. And what I was doing was I was sending traffic to our Realty Generator website. I was running Craigslist ads, and now I was able to see what people were looking at, and they were saving. The activity was huge. compared to what we're doing now, it was way better back then.
Yeah.
Less competition, no Zillow portals, none of that stuff was really around, wasn't big.
Yeah, you took the next words out of my mouth. I was going to say there was no Zillow. And Craigslist, which has become, maybe basically, like, I think there's still some like buy, sell, trade type stuff on there, although that's all over Facebook too, with private groups, as we both know. But exactly. But the lead gen stuff, you weren't competing versus Zillow. There was less competition. There was, so if you were ahead of it, which you were, you could dominate that space. And everyone always says, like, when you're trained, there's all these speakers out there, and I believe in all that stuff. I love listening to motivational speakers and all this stuff, right? I love it, right? But no one has the secret sauce. You had the secret sauce back then. I hit it. You hit it. You had it. Yeah. But you had the secret sauce, right? Yeah.
The reason why I hit it was I was charging them a 35% referral fee.
Yeah. Which is a steal at the end of the day. Yeah. If there's no competition, you're getting quality leads. You're not up against the Zillows or the Redfins, and those are two of the prominent ones that pop up when you do an internet search, right? If you're not up against these powerhouse companies right now worth billions, and you're ahead of the curve.
Yep.
Yeah. If I was a real estate agent, and you're like, I'm going to give you high quality leads, and I'm going to take a 35% cut, and you're going to take the rest. Sounds awesome, right? It's a win-win. So
it can still happen today.
It can still
we haven't even. That's what I'm still doing.
Yeah. I was going to say, we're about to get into that, because you're leading up to that. So
yeah, I'm leading up to that because this is the segue into doing what I'm doing now. It's just different. But back then, what I was doing as well is I found that whenever I went online and I did a search for Reston Homes for Sale or whatever it was, I just looked at who are the companies that were hosting the listings that were popping up. And so homes.com was one. And then here we go. I've never told anybody this. Maybe
this breaking news. Do it. No, you got to tell you can't tease us and then not say it now, right?
Yeah.
But the whole purpose of this is you're going to be sharing this on your KV Core sites and Remax and everything you do. But I wanted everyone to hear the background, that you're not just Jason with Remax in Florida that knows how to do this stuff. You know how to do it. You built it. Like this is you. This is what you've done your whole career. This is what you've done your whole life. And that's what I love about it. It's not about a commission cut for you. It's about building passion, winning, like being.
I still stay up till 4 a.m.
I know, you and I both do. I was texting at 2 a.m. last night, just trying, same thing. I can't.
I'm always trying to figure stuff out.
You know how they ask the question, not to segue here, but they ask the question, like, are you a night owl or a early bird gets the morning worm? I'm like, I'm both.
Yeah. Like, you just don't go to sleep.
My boss used to say, he goes, I was one of the top producers in the company, if not the top of the time. He goes, Rob, he goes, you're very successful. I'm very proud of you. You're doing a great job. He goes, but the early bird gets the worm, and I'm up earlier than you. And I go, and he got up at whatever, 5:30, 6 a.m. And I go, no, you're not. He goes, no, man, I'm up at 5:30, 6 a.m. You said you don't get up to like 6:37. I'm up like an hour and a half before you each day. I didn't sleep until 10. I got up at whatever, 7 o'clock, right? He goes, your early bird gets the worm. And he said, I'm up an hour and a half before you.
An hour and a half?
Yeah, just an hour and a half. Yeah, just an hour and a half. He goes, I'm up an hour and a half before you. But
what time are you up?
Like 7, right? 7:30.
Okay.
And he goes, I'm up a little bit before you. And he goes, I'm up at 5:30, whatever. And I go, and he goes, but the early bird gets the worm. And I said, you're wrong. I'm up before you. He goes, no, you're not. You told me you get up at 7. I was like, but I don't go to bed till 4. And I go, so I'm up before you. Because I'm still working between midnight and 4. So I beat you. Then you get up at 5:30. Then I get back up at 7:30. I'm going to get a 2-hour lapse, but I was up in the morning, AM, next day, 4 hours before you. And he's like, all right, I got it. So you can actually be, the segue is, you can be a night owl and the morning and the morning worm. You can do
I
both.
I went to bed at 4. I fell asleep. I think it was about 4:10 because I set my TV to go off, my little sleep thing twice. So I went to bed at 4:10, and then I was up at I think it was up at like 7:45.
Yeah.
So 4:10 to 7:45.
Yeah.
That's really not good.
It's
but
not, yeah. It's not healthy. You and I are going to tap out around 45 or 50 now.
yeah, I know. I only got 5 years left.
We're done.
Yeah, I did that math. No, it's true. I mean, then some nights, I really don't ever go to bed before. I don't go to bed before 1:30. I don't go to bed before
Yeah, I
1:30.
don't either. It's got to be a rare, like a once a month rare occasion, like just like
6 hours of sleep. That 6, 7's max. 6 hours is really ideal for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say 5 to 6 is ideal.
Yeah. Don't need it.
I don't understand the 8 to 10 hour thing. I don't get it. But you know what? It is a genetic thing. It's a genetic thing too. Like I've read enough studies about that, listened to enough podcasts. Like it's a real thing. Like not to mention like Elon Musk, but look at that guy, right? Listen to his interview over on Rogan's podcast, and it's like guy sleeps like 4 to 5 hours a night. Like that's just what he does.
Yeah, but just think about how much his brain is consuming.
Well, yeah,
it's constantly boom, boom.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out how to, turn a listing into a lead. He's trying to figure out how to like colonize Mars. Colonize Mars, right?
Build tunnels underground, AI robots, Neuralink, solar panels.
Yeah, he's gonna be Matt Damon in the movie Martian, and he's gonna be planting potatoes all over Mars soon. So
yeah, he lost $200 billion this year. He's probably trying to figure out how he's gonna get it back, and guess what? He's gonna get it back.
Oh, dude, he'll call it like he'll have people on Mars, like 100%. Like that's not even. It's not when, or it's not if, it's when, right? That guy's gonna make that happen.
Yeah, he didn't buy, it's just like what you just said. It's like here we are trying to get, try to figure out how to get a lead to a listing, to a buyer, a referral, like this and that. Like that's what we do. This is what we're happy doing. This guy is buying Twitter because he doesn't just want a public space for everybody.
Yeah.
He's going to turn it into a transaction platform. I know that's going to happen. There's been a lot of, I'm not the only one that thinks that, but he's big into Dogecoin and all that stuff. And it's going to be what they call, I think they call it a super app.
Okay. I haven't heard that term yet.
Yeah. Look into it. So there's I believe it's in China, they have super apps, and the super app just means when you go there usually you open up an app for one thing. Sure. Right. So if you want to park and pay, you open it up and you
rest and mobile. What a scam. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I used to have that too. You go to this app and you can do your banking. A super app. You can do your banking. You can get a loan. You can book your vacation. You can tweet. You can get on your social media. It does like all kinds of stuff for you. There's entertainment. All of this stuff. I believe it's in China. They have one that's massive. It's massive. And I don't know if they have.
Wait, isn't it called TikTok now?
No, but I mean, they're going that way. If you do, it's turning into a super app because I do have TikTok and I don't post. I'm just curious to see what the craziness that goes on in there.
Yeah, of course.
But people are exchanging coins for acting funny, right? So you can do a certain dance on TikTok, go live or whatever. And there's people giving you roses and flowers and stuff. Well, you have to buy those digital things,
and you buy them with cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
right?
You're
buying them with. Yeah, whoever's mining it, right? That's a whole nother podcast, mining cryptocurrency, right? So whoever's got their, this room back here is going to be my new podcast room. Well, there's people that have this room in their house, and there's servers, and there's data miners, and there's cryptocurrency, and they're doing Litecoin and Bitcoin and Ethereum, whatever, all of it.
This podcast, by the way, I'm calling it right now, is going to be OG. It's going to look like garbage compared to what you have, because all of a sudden you're going to have like a nicer room, nicer lights, better guests. Maybe
I'm going to bring not better guests. The guests are great, but I'm going to bring this. We're going to bring this wheel in a minute, and we're going to do one midway through. But
hey, but
let me bring you back. Oh, go ahead. No, go. I want to bring you back on topic because this is about you, and I want to keep this fun.
No, that's where I was going. I was going back on topic because I remembered whoever is sitting there listening right now goes, dude, he was just about to tell me.
Yeah, that's all right. We kept him on here for 28 more seconds. So
the secret was I went on. It's not a big secret, but I mean, I went on Google and then I just looked at where these listings were coming from, and Home Gain was at the top of whatever you search for. When you homes for sale in Centerville, Manassas, whatever, Home Game was up there. So I went to their website and I looked, and way down at the bottom where their affiliate programs and all this was if you're a real estate agent, sign up here. You know, something about leads, Home Game, it was called whatever. So I called them and I talked to, you're not gonna believe this, I actually talked to a human being on the phone when I called.
When you called the number instead of press 1 to continue or a robot or
no, the guy literally answered the phone.
It was John in his basement from Home Game.
His name was John.
Yeah, it was John. It had to be John. It's always John. Was it John?
It was John. His name was John. He might have been the only one that worked there.
I just totally guessed John from Home Game.
Yeah. His name was John. He might still be there.
Let me ask this question. So when you say you called John from Home Game, which is just where I'm going to go play the lottery tonight, but John from Home Game, when that came up on the online search, was that just a Northern Virginia, DC metro thing, or is this nationwide? Home Game? Home Game
was nationwide.
Okay, so it was nationwide. Okay.
Yep, Home Game was nationwide. So Home Game came into play when the IDX came into play. So whenever your MLS was allowed to exchange that data with third-party companies, then that's when all these portals popped up.
Yeah.
So so that's what they did. So Home Game was taking everybody's listings, just like what Zillow does now, but they were generating leads. This is how it worked. It's just great, and it's still there, but they're a little further down the search engine, way down there, I think now. But anyway, somebody would search Ashburn homes for sale, right? Ashburn homes for sale, Home Game would pop up, and then it would say view all homes for sale in Ashburn, Virginia, this and that. A user would go ahead and click on it, and then it went to a landing page, and then it asked you to put in your zip code. So somebody goes, oh, okay, specifically, what zip code? So they clicked on it. They go, hey, I'm looking in 20147, if I'm right. I think that was
Ashburn. That's Ashburn. Yeah, 147, 148. You still got it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So they put 20147 or 48 in there, and then all of a sudden it would show like a little wheel, like it was thinking. So the user's like, all right, it's looking for my listings.
Yeah.
And then it would display, it was like, hey, we found, 42 new listings, narrow it down to price range. And then, so, you put in your price range, they're data collecting, they're collecting data as you go. It wasn't as good as it is. It wasn't as smart as it is today, but that was your only option then. Put in your email address. And then once you put in your email address, you get all the listings. You sign up for property alerts or listing alerts. And so that would generate the lead. And then guess what? This was the best part, right? So if somebody did that search and they said, hey, I'm looking in Ashburn, I bought the zip code. So I own 20147.
That's right. Back at I remember that. So you'd buy the zip codes. I remember that.
The zip code from Home Game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I'd buy the zip code. And so any leads that came in from that zip code, once they typed in their information, I would get the lead. Right. But what it would do is they would send you the user, once you hit enter, they send you to your website where you're displaying those properties already. So what I did with Home Game is I bought 20147 and I was like, whoever is looking for a property in 20147 between at that time 150,000 to let's say 800,000, land them on this page. I would just go to my website. I would do a search, copy the URL, and go into Home Game and post it there. So that way all my leads, when they came from the internet and they go, hey, this is what I'm looking for, enter, boom, now they're on my website. Yeah. And now they're searching my website and I'm watching everything that they're doing. So I was getting all these leads from Home Game, but what I did is when I built the team, the team of, and I know that there are people on my team that are going to watch this at some point. I know who it is.
Yeah.
That's going to watch it. And it doesn't matter because this was the secret of my business, but I was charging each one of the agents.
Yeah.
I think it was $300 a month and I would do their marketing because they didn't know how to do it. So each agent's paid me $300. I took that money, paid it to Home Game. I generated leads to the platform, which was Realty Generator. Realty Generator was $1,500 a month. I had the lender partner up with me. So they paid that. Right. That was you. Yep.
I helped a lot on that. Yeah.
Sucker. No, just kidding. No, the lender would have every opportunity at every buyer lead that came in, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. So it cost me nothing. I just did the marketing, and
but as it should, Jason, it should cost you nothing. because that was your expertise, right?
That's right.
Like so when you're saying other agents might be listening to this, you're like, they got a steal, in my opinion. Like, I'm just like,
they got
a steal, right?
They did, because they were writing off that $300 expense, right?
Correct. And I can tell you what Zillow charges today. It's more than that. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't use that stuff, but I'm word of mouth. But it's I don't use that internet stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's people that pay thousands of dollars a month, $5, $10, $15, $20,000.
I've got an agent in the area, 2 agents I know. They'll put $50,000 to $75,000 a month in lead gen. No,
it's all
got a couple 100-person team, and they made it works, right? It's economies of scale, right? So.
Yeah,
anyways.
my budget was $1,500 for the platform, paid for by the lender, and then it was $1,800 a month, 6 agents, $300 a piece. So,
but dude, I can tell you the quality of leads you had compared to what some of the online leads today.
Yeah,
it's not like today you're getting like, oh, here's a lead for you, and it's like Superman7@gmail.com, and his phone number is 00000000000. It's just garbage, right?
Dude, we turned.
You had some of that, but you didn't have a lot of that.
Dude, we turned Donald Duck into a $700,000 listing. Literally, it came through as Donald Duck. Yeah, we let it go. There was a bunch of them. We just didn't delete him, and then all of a sudden they found something that they liked. They reached out, and I called him Donald, and his name was not Donald. We reached out, connected. He told me his name. I laughed. I changed it on the platform. He was interested in buying, and we found out he had to sell before he bought. So
I bet his name was John too.
That was John.
It was John. It was John. Everyone was
John.
John Duck.
Yeah.
John Duck. remember the cartoon DuckTales?
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Diving, swimming through his coins.
Yeah.
John DuckTales is
John DuckTales.
He didn't need a loan. He didn't call me. He paid cash.
I've heard stories about FU. Someone put their name, the F word, F last name U. That turned out into being a client. Yeah,
that's funny. Although, who knows today? That could be someone's name. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have to also realize, though, that people online are in the information gathering stages. They're going through a process elimination. They're eliminating where they want to live. They're eliminating by looking at stuff. I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. They're searching for where they want to be by eliminating stuff. And most people, like, you think about this, it's like 40%, somewhere close to 40% of all buyers are sellers.
Yeah, true.
So you don't have to market for sellers. You market for buyers, because buyers are looking for homes they want to see, where they want to live before they sell. Who says I'm going to sell my house before looking for somewhere else to buy?
Yeah,
so
true.
A lot of real estate agents don't get that. So anyway, that's how I started the lead generation game. I was just buying traffic, posting on Craigslist, getting the leads. And then anytime one of my agents closed something, I would get a 35% referral on top of my salary, because I was also managing the office and stuff like that. And then I also had probably the best commission split you could ever get.
Yep.
I was also selling real estate too. Yeah. And it was all good. And that's what got me, to where I am.
But that's what made you good at what you do. Not good, but the best at what you did, because you just hit the nail on the head. You also sold real estate. So the people listening to this, as you're working with Jason and having him coach you and teach you and recruit you and grow your company and his company, he was grassroots too, right? You were knocking on the doors, you were doing all that. So you sold the real estate too, because I know I've worked with you forever, and not only were you helping me from a lending standpoint, saying, hey, Rob, partner with me on Lead Generator, and I'm going to hook you up with some different real estate agents, and you're going to get some referrals and so forth. You're also saying, hey, by the way, Rob, my friend wants to buy a home. Can you help him? Like, you were a real estate agent, right? And now every real estate agent wants to be a lead generator and stuff as well. And it's not just lead generation. Typically right now, you're not reinventing the wheel and building it yourself now. You're paying money to the Zillows of the world. That's what a lot of people are doing, because otherwise you're competing with them. And I still go back to the Craigslist thing. The Craigslist thing was interesting, because I had some agents that I had talked to back in the day say they would literally take. So I had a real estate agent, I won't mention a name, but I had a real estate agent that owned 10 homes, right?
Was it John?
Yeah, it was John. It was John. How'd you know? So John, the real estate agent who owned 10 homes, lived in his primary residence, and he had 9 other rental properties in Northern Virginia, had a ton, right? And on each rental property, he always had a sign out front, and even when it was rented, he always had a sign out front, and he always had it listed on Craigslist as a rental.
Right.
And then he would get calls. He'd be like, "Hey, this is John with Remax, and I understand you're interested in renting my condo for $1,500 and the rest in Town Center." And they're like, "Yeah, I am." And he's like, "Unfortunately, we rented it yesterday." "Yeah, you rented it yesterday." "Sure." So it's already been rented. It's already in a 1-year lease. And he's like, "But you're willing to spend $1,500 a month to rent. Have you thought of buying instead of renting? And I've got a lender I can connect you with, and let's see what you can get pre-approved for." Because back then, as we know, you had 100% financing, 109% financing. It's like, you don't need any money. We're going to get you into a home, and it's going to be equivalent or cheaper than your mortgage or than your rental payment.
Yep.
Or if it's $2,000 and you tax, do the tax advantages of it, it's equivalent to your rent. But this guy literally built his business on. No, he did have the homes, like he did have the rentals, but I knew other agents that didn't even own the properties. They just call their friend and be like, "Yo, can I use your rental address?" and say I'm renting.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Back in the day. I wrong that that's Craigslist was?
Yeah.
It was the wild freaking West.
I can tell you where that is now.
It was the Wild West.
It's called Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, that's true.
It is the new Craigslist. It's the same exact thing. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think this next week coming up, Facebook had announced that they are no longer, if you own like a page, you're a Facebook page owner, the pages, business page.
They did announce this. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you can no longer post cars or homes for sale on there. They don't give you that option. Though you can post them into Marketplace directly, you just can't post them on your page anymore.
And you can no longer build a page for a home. Like I have the Ross Group at Intercoastal Mortgage, right? Like I have my business page. Mm-hmm. People would build a page for like an Airbnb. Like, "Hey, I have a single family home in Nashville that's an Airbnb. I'm going to build a page for it." You can't do that anymore either.
Yeah. They're oh gosh, we could talk all day. We could talk all day about Facebook.
So, tell me this. So building leads. So right now, what are you doing for your agents where you work right now?
Man, I do everything and anything I can to get them business and to get them to realize that they are marketers. Like if anybody listening to this, real estate agents are marketers, but they don't understand it. So you are a marketer, you're in sales, you need to be a marketing person. You need to be a master of marketing. No matter, real estate is just your vehicle. If you're in insurance is your vehicle, right? If you're in sales, you have to learn how to market. You need to know how to generate leads and generate opportunities. And so I help our agents. We have top producers in our company that get it. We have some that don't get it. And I cannot, my thing has always been technology. And for some agents, it's just not. And it took me a long time to realize that you can't twist these people's arms. Like,
you can't.
No, they're stuck in, hey, if it works for them, then let them do it. And I'm talking about old school farming, which I still love. Farming is great. If you guys
it still works, actually.
It works.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Some agents work off of just referrals, right? I know a couple of them, they're old school guys that it's referral business. They don't have to do any marketing.
Chamber of Commerce. Lions Club, whatever.
Or the group that you did that I used to join.
BNI
groups.
Business Network International. You can go to the American Legion. You can go to the VFW. You can go to the Catholic Church. There's all sorts of ways to do it.
Yeah.
But if you're not using technology at all, that's where someone should partner with you.
Yeah.
In my opinion, right? Partner with someone that is doing it.
I'm the plug.
Yeah.
I know that's a weird term these days. I think it means like drug dealer. It's my drug dealer. He's my plug.
He's my plug.
He's my plug. Yeah. But I mean, basically, obviously in more professional sense, that's what I kind of am for the real estate agents that don't know technology. They don't want to, a lot of them, they feel like technology is advanced so quick and so fast that they don't even want to jump into it. It's better to just use a technology broker. That's what I call myself. I'm a broker, but I'm specific in technology because if there's things that they don't understand or don't want to, they don't have to recreate it. Why not just use me? Yeah. And that could be, hey, so I generate a lot for my team. I have a team of agents over at my office, and I generate leads and opportunities for them. And when the market was really hot last year, jumped into seller leads. I found out a really great way to generate seller leads. And we had 2 agents that were really successful working it. And one of our agents that usually did about $1.5 million her first 2 years in the business, boy, I wanted to throw this number out. We were looking at something like 12, I think it was something like 12 million or something like that. And she ended up, with the market slowdown and all that, I think she ended up just above like 10 million. So she went from a $1.5 million producer just by herself to a 10 million from working the leads that I was assigning to the team. Everybody got the same leads, and we're generating, this is what we're doing now, partial leads, man. So most, man.
It's response time though, right? Isn't that the biggest one of the biggest keys?
No, it doesn't work that way anymore.
Okay.
Yes. No, I can't say
you have to respond fast, right? So
you have to respond fast, but the consistency is more important than the speed. And I'll tell you why. The speed used to be most important because people used to answer their damn phones. They don't anymore.
Yeah, they're waiting on a text. They're sending you to voicemail. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, my phone.
So now it's not the speed. It's the 7th or 8th touch.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
it.
Yeah.
5 to 7 times. Now, let me tell you this, we're generating, like, if you guys are not running like Facebook ads or something that's, I'm doing a lot of that. It generate partial leads where people are looking for home valuation.
It works.
They type in their home address, but they don't give you their first name, last name, email anymore. And so most real estate agents just go, another dud, another shitty lead, whatever. So those agents are the ones that aren't getting any business, which is probably 95% of them. Yeah. So now you take those 5% of those agents that go, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to do what Jason said. I'm going to take that address and I'm going to go through the process of finding out who owns the home. And then I'm going to find out their contact information. And then I'm going to reach out to them because they gave me their property address, and I'm going to see what I can do for them.
And I'm going to connect with them on LinkedIn and Facebook. And I'm going to go connect with them. I'm going to stalk them.
Well, I mean, that's when you try to get them on the phone. Email works okay. Text, it works okay for communication, to open up a conversation.
It does. It does.
You still want to get them on the phone.
Dude, if you could, it's some things will never change.
Yeah. It's
in a phone call.
Yep.
That's where I close my deals, is on the phone. You still got to build a rapport and trust, because at the end of the day, when someone's buying a house, typically that's their biggest transaction of their career or life, I should say, right? Yeah. Got one client that bought a condo in Fairfax for $225,000 back in 2005, and he had a $275,000 Ferrari. It's the only client I ever knew that had a more expensive car than house. Okay. And but my point of saying that is, literally, he had a more expensive car than he did a house.
That damn John.
Yeah, his name was John. It was crazy. John, little John. No. I called him up. Yeah, he would. Yeah. Okay.
Don't get me started. Oh my gosh. Don't get me started with that.
Actually, I think the last time I heard that Little John song, you and I were in our 20s, and we were in the old theater off Drainsville Road.
Oh, when I kicked my shoes off?
No, it's when I had a nice button down and you just ripped all my buttons off my shirt.
Yeah, that was it.
Was that the night? Yeah.
Yeah, I did the
and your buddy Ryan, you ripped Ryan's. Ryan was there. You ripped his. Tino. You ripped Tino's. You ripped all of our shirts off. Yeah.
Yeah. So the best thing was I bought all 3 of you guys the same shirt as a sorry gift, and tried to get you all to show up the next week at the same time.
We didn't. Why didn't we do that?
I don't know, but I have to be honest.
We should have done that. You know what? We can still do that next time you come back.
I bought all 3 of you replacement shirts, but you never wore them at the same time. But I just saw it was on social media. Somebody did that. Some girls did this. 3 friends gave their boyfriend shirts and made them all wear them out. They all went out as a couple, and all 3 guys showed up with the same shirt, and it started trending.
I think we need to do that next time you come in. We need to.
I created that.
You did.
I created that, but it didn't work. But the women that they're smart. They all decided to have their boyfriends or husbands do it and show up. I just ripped all 3 of your shirts off.
That was good. It was, back in the day.
I know. I did that here.
You were breaking through the barrier of lead generation.
That's what I was doing. I know you have it in you, Rob. You want to make those phone calls. I did it here to one of my friends last year, a year and a half ago. He's from Australia. I literally did that to him while we have like a late happy hour.
Yeah.
He turned around, he jumped on he's not all that big either. He jumped on my back. I was laughing because I thought he was just playing.
Yeah.
He was on my back so hard, and I was laughing so hard that I went to go walk, and I tripped on the front of my flip-flop as I'm laughing. Went right down in the corner of a metal chair, busted my eye open. Oh, yeah, had a black eye and everything. And then I think he was really mad. And then when he saw that I was bleeding and I got up, he was like, played it off like, oh man, I'm sorry, mate. I didn't mean to do that, mate. And I was just like, oh, you're not mad? He's like, you're not mad? I'm like, no, I did it to you. It
was a joke. Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay, I thought I hurt you. And then
you're going to have a shirt in the mail tomorrow. It's fine.
I never bought him a new one.
Yeah. Whatever.
I didn't buy him a new one.
That was funny. Yeah, he jumped on your back. You had to pay for the stitches.
Yeah. I almost needed it, but no.
So with like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, this other type of stuff, it's interesting because you can they make it easy. They try to make it easy to advertise, right? You can hit the boost post, and I'm not saying, and everyone it's the worst, right? It's
does nothing. Even Facebook says it.
Even correct. You hit boost. Now, if you do hit boost, if you want to be lazy, and I say lazy, that's kind of rude probably, but if you don't know what you're doing, or in my case, I've still hit boost from time to time on some pages, then that's being lazy. At least build your own audience, right? Because when you hit boost, if you build your own audience, you can drill down. You can drill down to, I like wine and cheese and sports and whatever, real estate. You can drill down as far as you want to drill down. They used to let you pick income and other things. They've eliminated a lot of these ways you can drill down on advertising, at least with Facebook, from what I've noticed. But the key to a lot of these, Jason, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, is, and I'm probably wrong, but it seems like every day you log onto Facebook to do something, you have to relearn it because they change everything so much and then so often. Like you used to be able to if a business page, you wanted to post something and schedule it out. They had a little link at the bottom. You'd hit schedule out. You'd hit 2 buttons. Now it pulls you up onto the meta page on the back. I call it the back office, right? Yep. It pulls you up to the back office page, a whole new page. And then you got to hit a calendar or a few other ways. And then you can still schedule posts out, but it's like they made it more difficult in some ways. But yet when you go to the new way where you think they made it more difficult, there's other features there now that make it better.
It just took me 3 days to find my leads that they store on Facebook. So I just resolved it last night, which is why I was up talking to the Meta people.
Yeah.
So everything you just said is correct because all of a sudden I couldn't find my damn leads in Business Manager, but now they have the Meta Manager. Yeah, well, I didn't.
They're not gone, but they're gone, right?
Yeah. So I use like Zapier and stuff. So when I do Facebook lead ads and stuff, I use Zapier, and those leads go right into my CRM.
And for those that don't know, Zapier's like an API, like an integration tool, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Some people call it Zapier.
Zapier.
I call it Zapier. That's what I thought it was. But Zapier.
Automated processes.
Yeah, it just takes your data from your lead ad forms or thousands of different companies, and it takes them and will take that data for you and put it into your CRM or wherever you want it to go.
Yeah, wherever you want it. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's crazy the stuff that I've done that I've built with communication stuff. It's just unreal. And I mean, I'm not even smart at this stuff. It's just you can figure it out and easy to use. There's some people in like a different level that are using webhooks with it, all kinds of different stuff. But anyway, not to bore anybody, but yeah, you're 100% right. It took me 3 days to find where my leads were because they said that I was not the administrator of the page that I was advertising on. I asked them, I was like, okay, so if I'm allowed to use this business page to run ads, how am I not the administrator to receive the leads?
And I'm paying for it, by the way.
And I'm paying for it.
Yeah. How?
Yeah. We had to hit reset to default, refresh your screen, unplug it, plug it back in. It was like a game.
Yeah.
It went over, for 3 days.
You had to pull the cartridge out and blow in it.
Yeah. I remember that.
So you can play Duck Hunt. So you can play Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Tyson's fun. Yeah. Glass John. Was it Glass John or Glass Joe?
Glass Joe.
Yeah, it's Glass John.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah, Glass John, Glass Joe. Yeah, remember that. I remember that. I remember you were actually supposed to take a Q-tip and put it in some rubbing alcohol.
Oh yeah, put it on there.
Yeah. So it didn't. Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, that's that, man. Facebook. I love it. I absolutely love it when I hear agents say that Facebook sucks. They say it all the time. What sucks is they don't understand it. They don't get it. And now they might say it sucks compared to, and then I would have to agree. Like,
sure,
it depends on what you're doing. But what really sucks is the agents that say social media or Facebook ads suck. Right? Just means less competition for us. But they don't advertise. They're not marketers. They don't know how to advertise. Oh, maybe their message sucks. Maybe their message isn't resonating. Maybe it's the copy. Maybe it's their image. What I want to see what you're saying, because I know it doesn't suck, because I probably have about 12 leads that have come in since we've been on this call, all from Facebook, and not even on Instagram, just Facebook ads in their sellers, in their buyers. And remember, I told you buyers, 40% of them, I think it's something like 36, 40%, whatever it is, have a home to sell as well. Now what? So do you think that a lead is somebody that wants to buy or sell, Rob? Do you think they're ready to do that right now?
Yeah, I do. So? And I, depends on where you are. Right. Yeah. But I, right now, I'll tell you what I told a client last night on the phone. I had a buyer call me last night on the phone, applied. We did the pre-approval today, sent it to their real estate agent. And last night on the phone, she goes, "Hey, my real estate agent said it's a great time to buy because competition's less. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people on the fence because they're saying, well, rates were 2.5%. Now they're 6.5% or whatever, right? Wherever rates are. And let's just say they're 3 to 5% higher than they were last year at this time. Right. So, and it's just a bad time to buy. Wait till the spring market. I'm like, okay, no, go buy now. Don't wait till the spring market where there's more competition. Mm-hmm. Who cares about your interest rate? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, who cares? Like, it's higher now. I'm like, relatively speaking to 2020 and 2021 during the COVID crisis and the crash, yeah, it's higher. Mm-hmm. Here's your chart of the mortgage payments over the last 70 years. Here's your chart. Where are we? We're like, oh, we're clear down here at the bottom at, between whatever, 5.5% and 7.5%, depending. That still seems really low. Yeah, it's extremely low on the grand scheme of the last 70 years. Mm-hmm. We're just very high compared to the lowest of all times. Right. And I'm like, but I have buyers every day buying at 7.5. They're like, my favorite question. What if, I don't want to buy now if 18 months from now rates are back to 4%. I'm like, then you're going to do a no cost refinance and we're going to lower you to 4%. Yep. Well, what do you mean? Well, we'll do some premium pricing and we'll figure out how to, cover some of your costs for you. And you're not going to pay anything, and you're going to lower your rate 1 or 2%. Right. But you now have 18 months under your belt of building equity, buying a home with no competition. Because guess what happens when rates drop 2%? Competition goes back up. Now your home value is going back up. Get in now, build the equity. And we use the term marry the home and date the rate. Yeah. Right. I've heard that. Yeah. Marry the home. Yeah. Marry the home, date the rate. Right. That's what you do. And that's still the truth. But anyways, that's true. But it is true. But to answer your question, there's buyers just sitting out there just saying, I'm waiting for rates to go back down. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you that's stupid, but I think the type of leads that you get, you have people that are ready to buy and sell because they're applying. It's a bigger process. Yeah, I typically do. Yeah. Most of my leads come from real estate agents who have already done the due diligence and say, hey, Rob, this person's looking to potentially buy. Yeah. So do you do anything as far as like mortgage leads online? So I partner with some real estate agents on some Zillow stuff. Mm-hmm. I let them field most of it because the client that signs up for Zillow is not really interested in the lender calling them saying, hey, here's your interest rate. They're not that far yet. They've started a home search and they've narrowed down to, they've drawn, you can draw the line around where you want to look. Right. Oh, yeah. And here's the sales price range and 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. They've done all that on the back end. and they've hit submit and they're searching, right?
Right.
They want to talk to the real estate agent, and they might not even want to talk to the real estate agent. But once they're ready to talk to the real estate agent, they're starting the home search, and then it's up to them to connect me with it. So unless you're a true mortgage company that is a true lead gen mortgage company, so consumer direct
Rocket
is what
loans.
I would call it. Yeah, straight consumer direct.
Yeah.
Those companies are really struggling. It's consumer. It's kind of funny. We're here today talking about technology, which is massive and needed. But yet at the end of the day, grassroots, if you leave that, you don't have some grassroots, you're still going to lose.
Yeah, you're 100%.
It's the combination of both. It's the combination of both.
I've been preaching that literally. I've been preaching that for a little while now, probably over like the last 4 months. But I just did this today and yesterday. I needed to let everybody know and remind them that nothing is going to take the place of human nature and being able. I did it during one of my training videos I just posted. People are thinking that everything is going to be like done for them. Like you're going to do this advertising, your CRM, your marketing, everything is going to spit somebody out that goes, "Hey, I'm ready to write a contract." Well, dude, you need to build a relationship. People only work with people they know, like, and trust. We've heard that everywhere. I don't know who came up with the term, but who coined it, but I live by it. Well, it's so true. They have to know, like you, and trust you. It's one of those things, or all three of them, for them to get. So you can't do that via email. You can't do that via text.
Yep.
You can't do it via a dating app. You still got to go on the date. You can't date somebody because you're emailing and texting. Because
you're buying a house. Because you're buying a house. You have to know, like, you're not walking somewhere and saying, I'm going to buy a new pair of tennis shoes.
Yep.
I don't have to know, like, and trust the guy at Foot Locker to buy the pair of tennis shoes.
Yep.
He needs to show me the right size, he or she, and I need to try it on and make sure it fits. And I need to make sure I like the shoes and I buy the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying a house for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yep. You have to know, like, and trust the person that's helping you.
Yep.
That's the difference. It's what you're buying too. And that's what we forget about. This is the single largest purchase of 99.9% of anyone's life.
Here now, you're 100% right. Now, guess what? Marry technology and know, like, and trust together. And what do you have? How do you do that? Video.
Oh yeah, well, of course. Yeah.
I was just helping you out there, so I didn't really stump you too much there. It is a tough question.
The wheel.
I know. I was looking back there too. It's like you almost caught me. I was looking at the wheel. If you can marry video in with your marketing, you are under the radar, already getting to get clients or leads, or the public get to know, like, and trust you. And that's when they reach out to you because they've seen your video. They see if you're a listing agent, or if you're a buyer's agent, you better become a listing agent quick. Keep doing what you're doing with the buyer's agents. Don't ever stop. But you have to become a listing agent as well. Once you're a listing agent, you need to get somebody that's professional, that does videography, cinematography type stuff.
You have to
get your face and your butt in front of that camera on every single one of your listings. And it better be eye-catching. And that is how you advertise yourself. You're advertising yourself with your own listings. So you don't have to go in front of the camera and go, "I'm the best agent. I've been doing this for so long. Nobody cares." Breaking news. Nobody cares.
They care about the house.
They care about the house.
Yeah.
They care about the sneaker. You just said about the sneaker.
Yeah.
Well, the guy that I buy my sneakers from, or the gal, or however they are, or whoever, dude, they serve a purpose.
Yeah.
I need them as fast as possible. I need the right size right away because I got time to go. So no two salespeople at the sneaker store are going to be the same. You could have the snail that's not paying attention, giving me the wrong size. You got the one that's doing their job correctly, right?
Yeah, selling you 2 extra pairs.
Oh, and socks.
Yeah.
Everybody should be walking out with socks if I own a shoe store.
It's crazy.
So when you're exactly. I will go back and buy sneakers and shoes and flip-flop from somebody that honestly gives me good service. And obviously if they have a good selection of shoes, I'll go see that person every time.
It's personality. You can't replace the person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't care about AI, robots, all this stuff. It's true. Shaking hands and kissing babies, or
pressing palms.
I said shaking babies and kissing hands.
Yeah, pressing palms.
Pressing palms. There you go. So why don't we do this? Why don't we spin the wheel?
Yeah, let's do that.
Why don't we spin the wheel?
How long have we been on, by the way?
Good hour and a half.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
All right, let's spin the wheel. Let's wrap it up. There's no way that somebody's going to spend this amount of. Well, we're not Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan. I watched a 3.5 hour one yesterday.
Dude, I do too. They're good.
Yeah.
We're pretty likable guys. I think people are going to watch this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We're going to have 7-second views, but no, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're going to have to pay your boy Ryan to watch the whole thing.
Right. He won't.
No, he won't. Yeah, he might.
Right.
All right, I'm going to spin the wheel. Give me a second. I'm going to take the headset off.
Okay. All right, let's spin it.
All right.
Please fall. Please break. Please break. Oh, what is that?
Okay. So the question that it landed on was, what is the best prank you ever did to someone or witnessed? The best prank in your life that you ever did to someone or witnessed yourself in person. And if you want to pass on the question, you can. I'll spin it again.
That's really funny you say that.
Maybe I caught you off guard, but that's all right.
I believe in karma. I know I don't prank people, but there's no way that I can miss this.
I mean, we already talked about it. You ripped the buttons off all of our shirts.
Oh, that was spontaneous.
Yeah, that was spontaneous.
That was, I would say, that was hysterical. I don't know if that's a prank.
It's not a prank. So let's spin it. Let's spin it and see what else is there.
I mean, I know there's things that I know there's one I just can't talk about. So
all right. Well, that's even better.
Spin it again. Let's see what else we got.
Let's spin it again. See what we got.
That's so lame that I'm not gonna be able to talk about it.
All right. I'm spin it. Oh, that's a better spin. Now I feel like Bob Barker standing here.
All right. Let's put the old hat on back.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. We talked about this one earlier before we started recording. If you could go back to any historical event in history, and I always said earlier, like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, you get in the phone booth, you punch it in, maybe there's a flex capacitor in there, and you get back in time. If you could go witness anything in history, what is it and why? And it doesn't have to be a funny answer. Maybe it's a serious answer.
If I could go back in time and witness, and I had
anything in history.
If I could go back in history, oh man. I just had this. This might have been in my dream or whatever, that I had a mental block where I could not answer a question. It was a premonition till like right now.
You know what mine would be? Mine would be 2001. I saw a silhouette in the Red Bull. People walked in. That's what I'd go to back in history. Back to the Red Bull, the invention of Red Bull. No. You ever watch the History Channel?
I have, but I think I know what it is. So I do. I had one. I do have that one answer. I can't talk about either. But Odell Beckham catching that one-handed grab in the end zone was
perfect.
Probably
On his helmet.
I remember where I was, what I was doing, what the ambience was, and watching his fingers just go all the way back and make that catch.
Eli Manning, right?
Yep, just
Odell,
chucked it up.
Right on his head. That made his career. He made an extra $100 million just from that catch, right?
With a corner and a safety right on him.
I
can't remember who.
I'm a big sports guy, but who was the team they were playing?
I can't remember.
What year? Do you remember the year?
Yeah. Oh gosh, that was probably going to be in in 15. That was like 2015.
Oh, I can tell you who. So here's my guess. I'm going to Google it, but I can tell you my guess. Was it the Seattle Seahawks the second year? Didn't they go to back-to-back? They won one and they lost one?
No, it wasn't the Seahawks, because they would have had that would have never happened to what's his name? That was there.
No, it was we should have just guessed this. It was the Patriots.
No, it wasn't. Oh, that's why I was watching the game.
Yeah, because you're a Patriots fan.
Was it? Yeah, that's right. That's why. No, it was not the Patriots. No, it wasn't. It might have been Buffalo.
Well, so the Giants were in 2012.
Just Google it.
I did. 2012 versus the Patriots, 2008 versus the Patriots, 91 and 87. Those are their Super Bowls.
No, but did you YouTube it?
Super Bowl. I put Super Bowl win, Super Bowl loss. Oh,
I was watching. It wasn't the Patriots. I was not watching the Patriots game. I thought it was like.
Tampa Bay. No,
it wasn't Tampa Bay.
Why is this so hard?
I always want to say San Francisco. I have that in my head, but they don't play.
Ravens.
There we go.
There it is. It was,
the
Ravens.
Ravens.
It was the Ravens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That was gonna drive me nuts.
That was, dude. Okay, so that's a loaded
Oof.
question.
Ooh, that wasn't a good game. Okay. Anyways,
What the heck you're looking at?
I'm a Steelers fan, so your Patriots kicked our ass every year. So Big Ben has 2 Super Bowls. But how about Pickett? Kenny Pickett. He had 2. He's the only rookie ever in NFL history, it's on ESPN yesterday, to have 2 game-winning drives with touchdown passes inside the last minute of the game last 2 weeks.
Wow, really? I didn't know that.
And for the Steelers to get we finished 8-8.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
For Tomlin,
that's not bad.
I mean, we started off 2-6, like pretty good. I'll give him that credit.
And you guys aren't in the playoffs.
We need 3 teams to lose this week, and we need to win to make.
And that's
it. So
crazy.
like,
look at Tampa Bay; they limped in at 8-8.
It's crazy. Well, I became a Seahawks as my second team this year because I'm a Geno Smith fan because he went to WVU. Look at his story. He's 10 years in the league, played for the shittiest team, Jets. Any
Oh, I remember that.
Any quarterback that gets drafted by the Jets as a rookie, you're done. Career suicide, right? But he made it. Went to the Giants, backed up Eli.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Chargers, backed up Phillip Rivers. Went to Seahawks, backed up Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
And the guy always had the arm.
Oh,
but he's learned Eli, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson.
Yep.
These are 3 NFL NFL Hall of Famers, right?
Talk about imploding when you said Russell Wilson.
He left Seattle, and my boy Geno, he's in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's just crazy.
Crazy, killed it, right? So,
man, the Jets, man. Yeah,
anyways,
man, we could talk sports all day.
Well, good catching up,
dude. This is awesome. Thank you so much. I feel like I went back in time, like some kind of wormhole back in time to bring me back to 1999 to get me all the way back. And we haven't even scratched the surface yet.
We'll do part 2. We'll do part 2 because
we will.
I want people to get to know you, but also I'll leave it on this. And this is, we've gone back a long ways. We can joke around and have a lot of fun, but anyone that's lucky enough to know you and work with you and have you in their corner, it should be fortunate. It's very fortunate.
Yeah,
because
thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's not about you like helping people. That's you're just a good person. You like helping people. You don't care about the other stuff. You don't care about the accolades. It's nice to make a paycheck. It's nice to do stuff. Everyone's got to do that. Everyone's got to live, but you actually enjoy helping people. And more so than that, you like figuring shit out before someone else does.
Yeah.
And sly, and I say sly ways, unique, creative, sly ways of doing. I love that. I love doing that stuff. Figuring out how to be just a little ahead of the curve in a versus the $1 billion Zillows of the world, right?
Yeah.
Figuring out they're missing the boat here, and you like jumping on that boat and figuring it out. And
I couldn't have said it better myself
but kudos to you for that, because you're going to always be thinking that way.
Yeah.
And you're always going to use what's out there that everyone else is using, because you kind of have to, you have to be in it. Just like we said, Facebook, kissing baby, shaking hand. You got to do it all. But where can you differentiate yourself and find that secret sauce?
Yep.
Well, the secret sauce you found in 99 is different than the secret sauce you're finding today. Yep. But the key is you're the guy that goes and finds the secret sauce.
Yeah. I spent a lot of, I greatly appreciate that. I'll pay you later. But no, I mean, it's funny that you figured that part out about me, because I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what I do. I like to figure stuff out. I see that some people are having success. I think I can do stuff a little bit better, and I may have missed my calling on that. I think if I had an opportunity to sit in a boardroom with like a real estate company or a portal that had like like a Zillow type thing, and I go, you guys, if you do this way and maybe change this, it's going to work out differently. I think I missed my calling, because I have a lot of different ideas, and I've been actually trying to implement them on a smaller level without having that big budget to be able to split test everything. Yep. But I've figured out a bunch of stuff, and I think, next time I come on, if you ever introduce me or invite me ever again.
Oh yeah, you'll be on. You'll be on. Don't worry.
I'll actually share my screen and I'll show you some stuff, because I know we're out of time. But the stuff like what you just said right now, the technology that is out there right now that I've just learned about, like over like the last couple months, the AI stuff, the chat, CPT, whatever it is, like if you're not a real estate, okay, put it this way, real quick. I did a little management meeting today with the management staff, and I told them what I was working on, and I shared screen and I showed them, and they were all blown away. And I was like, you guys didn't know about this because it's brand new and it's changing.
Yep.
But the ability to be able to write content on the fly, unique custom content for your drip email campaigns, if you want it for your SEO, for your website, holy cow, man, all kinds of stuff going on. So I'd be happy to come on and actually pull back the curtain another time and kind of show you.
Well, let's do it. We'll jump in and figure out in February or sometime in the next month and a half. We'll get you in, and maybe when you come up to visit, maybe we'll do one in my podcast studio in person even. So
I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. So
awesome.
All right,
thank you so much.
All right,
brother.
brother.
I appreciate it.
Hey, always good catching up with you in more ways than one. So
awesome.
All right, man.
Thanks so much, man.
All right, brother. Take care. Love you too, man. Take care.
You've been listening to Seasoned for Success. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
We hope you've gotten some useful and practical information from the show, and we'll be back soon. In the meantime, make sure to like, rate, and review. And don't forget to spread the word and follow us on social media. On Facebook at Seasoned for Success and on Twitter at Seasoned Success.
Have a good one. Bye.
Till next time.